Okay, picture this. A really chilling voicemail pops up. Then a tweet about it just explodes online. Millions of people hooked. It's this whole puzzle that sort of unfolded in real time, full of coded messages, weird coincidences. It's quite a story. So let's unpack this. Today we're going to dig into this really fascinating internet mystery. It all centers around a Twitter user, @straightaway. They got this unnerving coded voicemail, right? And it wasn't just some quick thing online. The tweet, it hit like 8.5 million views.
Yeah, and over 200,000 likes, I think, in just, 3 days?
3 days. The internet was just completely gripped by it.
And what's really fascinating here is just how fast the public latches onto a puzzle like this. It often taps into our basic human need to find patterns, to find explanations, even when, we don't have all the pieces. It's sometimes called apophenia, this tendency to connect dots. It really fuels these kinds of viral mysteries. So for this exploration, we're not just going to lay out the timeline step by step. We also want to carefully look at the message itself, what was going on around it, and some of the theories that popped up. Compelling theories, even if they weren't exactly proven.
Okay, so let's start right at the beginning. Square one, the voicemail. So Ty, that's the user of Straightaway. He said he got a call, private number, while he's driving.
Right, so he didn't pick up. Standard stuff.
Didn't pick up. Yeah. Later he finds this message, and it's disturbing. You really have to hear the sequence, this phonetic alphabet thing. Era, Delta, Alpha November, Dog, Echo, Romeo, Sierra, Oscar, Sierra, India, Tango, India, Sierra, Delta, India, Romeo, Echo, Foxtrot, Oscar, Yankee, Oscar Uniform Tango, Oscar Echo Victor Alpha Charlie Uniform, Alpha Tango Echo Bravo Echo Charlie, Alpha Uniform Tango India, Oscar Uniform Sierra Tango Hotel, Echo Yankee, Alpha Romeo Echo November, Oscar Hotel Uniform Mike Alpha November 042933964230 Sierra Oscar Sierra Delta Alpha November, call Echo Romeo Sierra Oscar Sierra.
Wow, just hearing it like that is pretty intense.
Yeah. And Ty's immediate take on it, super alarming. He thought it spelled out danger, SOS. It is dire for you to evacuate. Be cautious. They are not human. SOS, danger, SOS.
That part definitely catches your attention.
For sure. And then there was that string of numbers he thought were coordinates. His reaction on Twitter was literally, I'm throwing my phone away.
Which tells you how freaked out he must have been.
Totally. It really shows that intense fear he felt.
But, this brings up a really interesting point right away. If the message is that urgent, a warning, why use code? I mean, the phonetic alphabet, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, like NATO uses, it's usually for clarity, right? To avoid mistakes over bad connections or noise.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a paradox. An urgent message needing clarity, but delivered in a way that needs decoding first. And even when you decode it, taking that first letter of each word, the message itself is still kind of jumbled. You've got SOS, which is distress, help needed.
Right, like save our ship.
Exactly. Yeah. But then you also have evacuate, which is more of an alert, a warning to get out. They don't perfectly mesh,
That's a good point. Mixed signals.
Yeah.
And speaking of things not quite adding up, another detail came out after the voicemail tweet. Ty mentioned something similar had actually happened a few days before he even got that message, on March 9th.
Oh, what was that?
He described being in his car in front of his house, like 3 a.m., super late.
Okay.
And he said he saw the sky taking pictures of his house with a flash, then walking away.
The sky? Taking pictures? That's bizarre.
Right. And his thought at that moment, he tweeted it, I'm going to die tonight.
Wow. Okay, so that definitely adds this layer of, personal terror before the voicemail even arrives.
Yeah, it really does. And he kept posting little updates, too. March 14th, just the word you, cryptic. Then March 16th, he asked people for help translating some ominous DMs he'd supposedly received.
Ominous DMs, too. Okay, this is getting layered.
And then another twist that really fueled everything. Someone else on Twitter claimed they got the same thing. They said their boyfriend called him, but instead of him, they heard Oscar Kango Hotel Uniform, Mike Alpha, November 042939642330 Sierra, Oscar Sierra.
Whoa, okay. Same numbers and the not human part again, but slightly different start. Okay, not human.
Exactly. So now it wasn't just Ty.
Right. That makes it feel less isolated, potentially more real, or at least more widespread.
This is where things got really interesting online. People started trying to piece it all together, and one theory just took off. It came from another Twitter user, who's Amachi, became known as the black box theory.
Ah, yes, I remember that one making waves.
So their idea was basically, what if this voicemail wasn't just a random message, but a recording from a flight data recorder. A plane's black box.
From a crash, yeah. Recording the final moments.
Right. And they had a few points to back it up. First, that weird sound before danger in Ty's message. They said it suggested it was a loop, like a recording playing over and over, not a one-off message.
Okay, interesting detail.
Second, those numbers, the potential coordinates. They claimed they were very close to where the Malaysian airplane went down. MH370.
Ah, the MH370 connection. That's a powerful hook for a mystery.
Definitely. So the core idea was, maybe Ty was hearing the black box recording from that flight. SOS, meaning save our ship, a final warning.
And the black box would have coordinates, naturally, as part of the flight data.
Exactly. They even tried to explain the unknown number, said that while it looks blocked to us, a computer might still read it as an own number, whatever that means.
Okay. Bit of a stretch there, maybe, but trying to cover the bases.
And then the kicker, the really, sci-fi part, they connected it to solar flares.
Right, the solar storm angle.
Yeah. So this all happened just after 2 big solar flares were released, leading to a soon-to-be solar storm. Solar flares cause EMPs, right? Electromagnetic pulses.
Correct. Bursts of energy that can mess with electronics, potentially travel far.
So the theory was maybe these EMPs amplified the black box signal, sending it way farther than usual, which is why random people like Ty might pick it up.
Okay, so using a real phenomenon, solar flares, to explain the seemingly impossible transmission.
And they even noted the flares were apparently happening closer to southern Asia's Australia, which again ties back to the rough location of the Malaysian plane.
You have to admit, it's a really compelling narrative. It weaves together a lot of the strange elements into one kind of epic explanation.
It totally captured people's imaginations. Yeah, but okay, let's step back and look at it critically.
Yeah, definitely need to break it down. As fascinating as the theory is, there are some significant issues when you look closer. We already talked about the message incoherence, right? The phonetic alphabet part relies on the first letter, yes, but that mix of SOS, distress, and an evacuate alert is still just odd.
Yeah, it doesn't quite track logically for an emergency.
Not really, and then there's the whole black box signal thing.
Right, you mentioned the connection was maybe a bit thin. How likely is that scientifically? A black box signal reaching a random phone?
That's really where the theory hits a wall, scientifically speaking. Black boxes have underwater locator beacons, these pingers, to help search teams find them. But the idea they'd broadcast a specific, complex coded voice message like that, amplified by solar flares to random cell phones, that's not how they work. It doesn't align with the physics or the technology involved.
So more like something out of a movie than reality.
Pretty much, yeah. And the coordinates, you mentioned Ty thought they were coordinates?
Yes, that long string of numbers.
Well, they're very unspecific, as you put it earlier. Real coordinates have standard formats, degrees, minutes, seconds, or decimal degrees. That single long string. Depending on how you break it up, how you format it, people were plugging it into maps and getting locations all over the place. Some in Africa, some in Southeast Asia.
So not exactly pinpointing the Malaysian plane crash site.
Not even close to specific enough to make that claim confidently. It just highlights how ambiguous that number string was. Someone even tried calling the number sequence, apparently. Got nothing.
Huh. Okay, so trying to trace that must have been a nightmare. It really shows how you can kind of make data fit a story if you want to, right?
Exactly. Confirmation bias is powerful, especially online. Now, what about those ominous DMs Ty said he got?
Right, the ones he needed help translating.
You noted the first one he shared was in Indonesian, which is geographically right next to Malaysia.
Yeah, seemed to fit the black box theory perfectly, didn't it?
It seemed to. But this is where you hit another classic problem with these online mysteries. The bandwagon effect, or people just jumping in for attention.
Like fake accounts sending stuff.
Precisely. Piggybacking off the hype, sending fake DMs, creating false clues, it happens all the time. Because of that, most people looking into it dismiss those DMs as probably fake, just noise.
Okay, that makes sense. Too easy to fake.
Yeah. But that other Twitter user's claim, the one whose boyfriend's call supposedly had the same message, that was often treated a bit differently.
Why? Because it came from somewhere else, not directly to Ty?
Sort of. It felt like maybe a separate data point, potentially corroborating, rather than someone just trying to message the guy who was already famous online. Still unverified, of course, but held aside as possibly more legit than the DMs.
It's like trying to find a real signal in a whole lot of static.
That's a great way to put it. And this pattern, the initial crazy spread, the compelling theory, followed by people picking it apart, finding the holes, the likely hoaxes, we see that again and again online. with creepypastas, ARGs, you name it.
So even if those DMs were fake, they probably still added fuel to the fire initially, didn't they? Made it seem even spookier.
Oh, absolutely. Even fake stuff, if it fits the mood or the story people want to believe, can amplify the whole thing. It becomes part of that collective storytelling, that shared imagination.
Right. And what about the guy Ty saw outside his house? The sky, taking pictures. Any more on that?
Nope. That's another common future loose ends. There's just no further information, no confirmation, nothing. It just hangs there as this extra unsettling, unexplained detail in Ty's initial account.
Okay, so wrapping this up a bit. We've got this mystery that just exploded online, fueled by a weird voicemail. We've got this incredibly detailed, almost cinematic black box theory that tried to explain everything.
A theory that was, let's be honest, really creative.
Totally creative. But then, when you dig in, there are these gaps, these inconsistencies, these parts that don't quite hold up to scrutiny.
Yeah. And you know that user Buzumachi, the one who proposed the black box theory, they actually tweeted something later that I think sums it up well. They said, basically, look, it's just a theory. It's not meant to be taken completely seriously. Not everything fits. It's not proven. Let people enjoy thinking about it, even if it's not true. Let them have fun with the puzzle.
That's actually a pretty healthy perspective on it.
I think so. It acknowledges the fun in the speculation without insisting it's fact. Sometimes the process of collective investigation is the interesting part, not the final answer.
So what does this all really tell us? Maybe that sometimes the stories that really grab us aren't the ones with neat, tidy answers. Maybe it's more about the mystery itself, that thrill of the unknown, and just how powerful our collective imagination can be when faced with something unexplained.
Definitely. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Why are we so drawn to these kinds of stories, these chilling narratives, these unexplained things, even when the evidence is shaky or contradictory?
Yeah. What is it in us that loves trying to connect those dots, that wants that aha moment, even if we have to bend the facts a little to get there? Something to think about.
It really is. What shapes the stories we choose to believe?
Well, thank you for joining us as we explore this really compelling internet mystery. We hope you found it as fascinating as we did.
Yeah, it was fun digging back into this one.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep digging deeper into the information all around us.
And hey, if you enjoyed this story, please do give us a like, maybe share it with a friend who loves a good mystery, and consider subscribing to our channel, Horror Docs, for more stories like this.
Yeah, we'd appreciate that. See you next time.